Terry, why on earth would you buy the M1 MacBook Pro knowing that the new M1X machines are about to come soon? And my answer to you is it is my damn money. What up, y'all? Tight Shirt Terry Warfield back in the building. Hey, hope you're having a good day so far. If this is your first time here, yo, a fat welcome to you. If you're part of the family, part of the squad, you came back. Hey, welcome back. I'm so happy to see your face. Do me a favor, like the video and drop your like number below so that I know you are here. Today, we are going to take a break from the camera content because y'all know that's typically my jam. That's what I do, to talk about the M1 MacBook Pro. So in this video, I want to talk about my experience with it so far. So I'm going to talk about like my use case, why I bought it, and then the things I like and the things I don't like after using it for about 3 months as a creator and stuff like that. So I think that's important real quick to identify what I do with the M1 MacBook Pro. I'm a content creator, as a lot of y'all know. I'm a photographer. I make short films. I make YouTube videos. I do all of my work on here in addition to my Mac Mini that's over there, which I'll talk about that in a separate video. But I use this MacBook Pro pretty much for friggin' everything. So I can safely say I put it through a workout. Right now, this is the base configuration, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage. I went with the base joint, which I'll explain why a little further in this video, but that is my use case scenario. So a lot of times I'm importing a lot of photos at once because I shoot like sports events and stuff like that. I edit 422 10-bit footage from the Sony a7S III. So let's talk about why I bought the MacBook Pro M1 and how I arrived at this real quick. So this all started a few years ago, right? I initially had an old 2011 MacBook Pro that was, you know, it was getting the job done, but you know, as the cameras and stuff get better, it was really starting to show its age. And I'm like, you know what? I don't even want a laptop no more. I want to go with a desktop. So I bought a freaking iMac. And then shortly after I had the iMac, I'm like, yeah, this is dope, but I can't move around and I really want to move around. So I found a local dude who was willing to trade me his 2018 MacBook Pro 13-inch for my iMac straight up. Hey, who knows who got the better end of the deal, but at the end of the day, we was both happy. Now, when I got the MacBook Pro, you know, it was a lot faster than the one I had, but nowhere near as fast as the iMac that I had just got rid of, but it was serving its purpose. It was the base model, Core i5, MacBook Pro, 256 gigabytes of RAM, 8 gigabytes of storage, and I made that computer work. However, the lack of power in that machine just really made things difficult for me, and although I used it, I got the job done with it, I wanted something more powerful. So anyways, I came up on a deal on the 2020 15.4 inch MacBook Pro, and this one has 6 cores, i7, and that machine I used for about a year. Awesome machine, but at the same time I started to hear all of these rumors about the M1s and how powerful they were this, and I'm like, oh nah, no way that's more powerful than my 6 core i7, blah blah blah. And then I got a Mac Mini, right, and was literally blown the hell away at how much faster it was than my Intel machine. And like, it's not one of those things you immediately can like, oh, you can see it on the screen. No, like the responsiveness, all of that stuff was like, oh my God, you know what? I need me another one of these in my life. So Apple had a dope trade-in program. I was able to trade in the 2020 15.4 inch with the 6 cores, the GPU and all of that stuff for the 13-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 joint in it. Now, initially, I felt like I got ripped off because I feel like this was the exact same chassis from the 2018 joint, but although it's very similar, the chipset inside is a totally different ball game. So I got this because in addition to my main setup, I wanted something that I can go upstairs, continue my edits that I started down here, blah blah blah. I hate being tied to this computer all day long, especially when your boy's still working freaking 9 to 5. So anyways, I bought it about 3 months ago. I got the base configuration, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, because I already got a decked out Mac Mini over there, and I'm sitting here thinking like, if I could make a Core i5 work with 8 gigabytes of RAM, I could for sure make the M1 work, because I knew it was already way more efficient with memory than the Intel machines were. So now that we got that out the way, I want to talk about the stuff that I cannot freaking stand about this M1 MacBook Pro. Let's get it. Alright y'all, hope you're liking this video so far. If you are, do me a favor, drop a thumbs thumbs up. Y'all don't understand how important that freaking thumbs up is. If you a hater, make sure you hit that dislike button 2 times. And if you're not part of the fam, not part of the squad, now would be a great time to join if you haven't done so already. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified when new videos go up. Now let's talk about the things that I can't stand about the M1 MacBook Pro. I got it right here in all of its glory. Still French fry grease on it and everything, crumbs all over the place. The first thing that I dislike about this machine is the lack of USB ports. And I didn't think that was going to be a big deal coming from a machine that had 4 ports, 2 on each side, right? But coming back to a machine with just 2 ports is freaking rough. Now on the table I got all of these little freaking dongles and stuff. I probably use this one more than anything. This is a Showtech or whatever, but it plugs into the side of it, right? And it looks like it belongs on the MacBook Pro. And it's got, you know, a couple USB-C ports on there, a couple card slots, a couple USB-A ports. I use this one the most, but I also have this one, and I also have this one. I will link all of these down in the description. Only being able to plug stuff on the left hand side is just really inconvenient, especially like my desk setup. All of my cables and stuff like that are over there. So when I'm down here at the desk and I'm working and I want to have my MacBook Pro over here, like it sucks having to wrap the cords all the way around the computer. And the problem with that is the tension that it creates on the ports. And we know that MacBook Pro ports have not had the best reputation. And to be honest, sometimes mine disconnect, sometimes mine just freaking do whatever they want to do. So I wish that they had more ports. I know that's probably coming on the M1X machines, but we talk about this right now. The next thing I don't like about it is that they just keep reusing the same freaking design over and over. And I know this is gonna change. I know there's new models and everything coming out, but I would have loved to see the sauce, a better screen, even though the screen is freaking bright. Better screen, smaller bezel, stuff like that. I hate the lack of, you know, storage support on here. I mean, I can't really knock it because we knew that getting into it, but I still don't like it. Another thing that really bugs me, I just have random reboots. Like I'll come back to my computer and it'll be sitting on the home screen talk about I gotta put my freaking password in to get back into the machine. Well, why were you off in the first place? I didn't turn you off. And that happens more often than I would like. There have been a few scenarios where I have just gotten random beach balling and random freezing, but honestly, I don't know if that was just I was out of RAM because it's only 8 gigabytes of RAM and I use Photoshop, Lightroom, Final Cut Pro. So it could be in those situations where my RAM ran out. That's a possibility. But needless to say, those are the things that drive me nuts about the MacBook Pro. And as you probably recognize, it is a very short list because I freaking love this computer. So let's talk about all of the stuff that I love about it. 3 months later, let's talk about my favorite thing so far, the speed. Listen, the M1 chip, we already know that it's freaking boss, right? It's powerful, it can run circles around like even my 6-core MacBook Pro that I had. Beat that in almost every single category in its base configuration. The speed of it is unreal. I know people tell you like, oh, the M1 is so much faster. Nah, dog. You haven't experienced how much faster it is until you use it. For example, when I used to run Final Cut Pro on the old machine, Sony A7S III files, especially with 422 chroma subsampling, used to rip that freaking machine apart. And it's because of the chipset, I get all of that. But the same footage on this M1 MacBook Pro, it straight rips through it. And I'm talking about layers of footage, effects and stuff like that. I can bog it down if I want to, but those are like small scenarios that I'm not really running into that often. So the speed of the M1 is ridiculous. The second thing that I absolutely love about this, and I can't stress this one enough, is freaking battery life. It is ridiculous how much better the battery is in the M1 machines versus the Intel machines. And this is no cap, no exaggeration. I have sat down on this computer on battery only, running Final Cut Pro for 3 to 4 hours straight in the middle of editing and still had juice left over when I closed it or finished the project. That would never happen on the freaking Intel machine. On the Intel machine, I'm talking about like after an hour and 20 minutes of intense editing, that joint was dead. This thing will keep on going. There have been times where I've been using it, left it somewhere for 2 days, came back, battery still on 80 freaking percent. Use it more, make a couple thumbnails, you know, upload a video, watch a couple YouTube videos and stuff like that, close it, come back to it, still got freaking 58% on it. The battery is unreal in the M1 MacBook Pro. And all of the other stuff is nothing new because, as I said in this video, they literally just took the same freaking chassis and slapped the new chipset in and upgraded a couple things. So the speakers are great. Never had an issue with the keyboard. The keyboard is nice and comfortable. I freaking love the touch bar. I know some of y'all don't like it, but I love the touch bar. Some people might say like, yo, you should get the M1 MacBook Air. It's 95% of the value. Okay, well go ahead and get you one. But I wanted the MacBook Pro. I wanted the better battery life. I wanted the brighter screen. And I don't really think that extra core really makes a freaking difference in real world use. But I wanted that too because I'm a snob. And if I'm gonna get one, I want the MacBook Pro. Like, it's really hard to argue with what this machine freaking brings to the table. It's small, it's lightweight. I do wish I had a bigger screen, but you know, we're getting new MacBooks soon, so you know, maybe I'll potentially think about upgrading to one of those. But as it stands, I don't really have a need to. If I upgrade, it would literally be just to have a MacBook that has more than 2 ports on it. And also, I forgot to mention real quick that this thing has been extremely durable. I don't run cases or anything on this, and there are, I mean, I need to clean it, but aside from that, I don't have any scratches on here. I mean, I do baby my gadgets, so you know, I don't have any scratches or marks on it, and I do not use a case. It's been in and out of book bags, no markings or anything like that, so it's pretty solid, man. I think for the price, especially if you're a content creator or something like that, and you need power on the go, or even if you want to just dock this joint to a monitor and snatch it off whenever you get done, this has enough to do well just about anybody except for like the upper tier of us creators. The M1 MacBook Pro has enough power to pretty much do everything for most people. Now obviously for the people that, you know, need more than that, then yeah, you got the new ones coming out. But as it stands right now, I'm completely happy with this purchase, and like I said, I don't see myself upgrading unless they come with mini LED, which I think we'll get, more USB ports, which I think we'll get, which means I might be upgraded. But I don't think you need to, and I absolutely don't need to. It's me being a snob, one of the latest and greatest. But overall, very happy with this purchase. I highly recommend that you grab one of these if you're in the market for a laptop, or if you want to wait for the new ones to see what they're going to bring, you can. But keep in mind that I'm sure those are going to be higher priced because there'll be more capable machines. But that also means you might be able to get one of these at a nice discount. And like I said, for most people, the M1 MacBook Pro is the way to go. So anyways, I know I've been all over the place in this video, but that's how I run my videos. I don't script, I don't do none of that stuff. I come right off the top of the head, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you got an M1 MacBook Pro, did you get a MacBook Air? Are you gonna wait for one of the new ones? Let me know down below. I'm gonna be down there kicking it with y'all. And I think I'm out of here. So until next time, peace and chicken grease. I'll see y'all later. Peace.